Want to start your book but can't seem to? This week, I'll be discussing the importance of developing your characters so you can leap into your story. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, break down the process, and meet others who've done it so you can leap into your own story. We interview amazing guests who provide powerful insights that inspire you to get your story told. Be sure to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com, and while you're there, subscribe and like us via your favorite social media network. Now sit back, get ready to take some notes, and let's get started. This episode of Leap Into Your Story podcast is brought to you by Leap Into Your Story course. Visit leapintoyourstory.com, where you have a guide to get your story told.
I'm Victoria Andersen, and welcome to the Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, work through the process, and get powerful insights that inspire you to get your own story told. So be sure to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com. And while you're there, subscribe and like us via your favorite social media network. In this episode, I'll be going over some writing tips on how to develop your characters, whether you're fiction, nonfiction, or memoir. And again, this is from my online writing course. And if you'd like to take the leap into the full course, you can do so at leapintoyourstory.thinkific.com. Or if you like to take a small little leap, you could take my free online writing course at leapintoyourstory.com/gifts. So, how do you develop your characters? Well, let's review the three main genres. So, for memoir, that's usually what I write, there are people who you've either interacted with, who were your heroes, who were your villains, and who inspired you, who shaped you to be the person you are that you're now writing about. For fiction, you're going to have two sets of different characters. You're going to have your main characters, and these are going to be the characters that are there from beginning to end. You'll also have some supporting ones, which will either stay the course with your main characters or may just be there for a few chapters. And now let's go into what would those characters be? Because again, when you usually think of characters, you think of maybe just fiction, but really characters are all the people in your story. So for those nonfiction folks who are writing, say, a step-by-step process, you want to think about either who are your testimonials, and maybe use some of them as your reference points, and those are your success stories. Or those could even be, say, your ideal clients, your avatars. So you want to describe them and how maybe your product, your process, or your solutions may help solve your avatar's problem. Now, when you think of characters, you usually think of physical descriptions, but that's also going to include personality and attitudes and weird quirks that they have about themselves. And also, you want to capture their characteristics in their dialogue and, how they, maybe their political views or their perceptions. And lastly, you want to think about not only the outer description of how your characters are viewing them, but also include what does the storyline entail through your character's eyes? And last, but certainly not least, how did these characters make you feel? Say, if you're a memoir writer or a nonfiction writer, but also capture how your main characters feel. What kind of emotions do they bring out and draw out to your reader? You want to make them angry. You want to make them sad. You want to make them curious. So these are some of the things that you keep in mind when you're developing your characters. Now, if you are just beginning and you're not really sure how many or what type of character, you want to think about, what they want to say. What are they wanting to tell your reader? What do they represent? And for beginners, what I recommend, if visualization is a struggle, is do what all great writers do. They start from what they know and who they know. So think about the people around you and maybe use them as a framework, and then gradually develop, fictitious things about them. Now, if you've read any of my books, you'll be able to see that I have done that. So look in my Touched, my Trial by Fire, or Mastering the Paradox memoirs. And if you read my fiction book, Interstellar, you will see the inner threads and the intertwinings and how some of those characters are showing up in fiction. So think about your characters, and I will meet you here again, and I'll share the next steps so you can leap into your story. Now, I want to thank you for tuning into the Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, work through the process, and get inspired so you can write your own story. So remember to visit our website at Leap Into Your Story and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're there, subscribe and like us via your favorite social media network. We are looking forward to seeing you next time here on the Leap Into Your Story podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, break down the process, and meet others who've done it so you can leap into your own story. Remember to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're there, subscribe and like to us via your favorite social media network. We're looking forward to seeing you next time on the Leap Into Your Story podcast.